Hello, I'm Gordon Lang, editor of CameraLabs.com. I'd like to give you a brief video tour around the Canon WFT-E3 wireless transmitter. Here it is, the WFT-E3. At the time we made this video, this unit was designed exclusively for use with the Canon EOS 40D digital SLR. So let's attach it and see how it works in practice. Here's the 40D, and the wireless transmitter attaches to the bottom of this camera and screws into its tripod thread. But you needn't worry because there's a spare tripod thread underneath, so you can still mount it without a problem. Now physically this obviously makes the 40D much larger than it was before, but it does equip it with portrait aspect controls. If I show you the corner of the unit here, you'll see that there's a shutter release button and also a finger dial, and round the back duplicate controls for things like the exposure lock. So this makes the camera very comfortable and easy to hold when you're taking portrait aspect photos. But of course there's much more to this unit than just this comfortable grip. The WFT-E3 features built-in Wi-Fi facilities that actually allow you to transmit images wirelessly from the camera to your computer. As we've seen previously on one of our other 40D videos, you can remote control the 40D from your computer, and now this unit lets you do it wirelessly. Now there's actually two versions of it. We've got the WFT-E3 version here, which has 13 radio channels. There's also a WFT-E3A version for use in North America, and to comply with regulations there, it has 11 radio channels, but otherwise they're identical. Now this unit does more than just wirelessly transmit pictures. It features a USB port that allows you to connect a storage device to back up your images onto, say, a portable hard disk. It also allows you to connect a GPS unit to record coordinates on your images so you can find out exactly where you took your pictures. All in all, it's got a great deal of features, so without further ado, let's take a closer look at it in practice. Here's the 40D with the WFT-E3 is viewed from the back, and you can see if we look a little closer here, this is the dial that I used to actually attach the unit to the tripod thread of the 40D. Looking down here, you'll notice a small LCD display that shows, for example, that we're now connected to a wireless network, and that's what this flashing light is also indicating. Around the side you'll see some additional ports. Now behind this one is a wired Ethernet port. You might wonder why that is when you've got wireless, and the answer is for speed. If you connect this with a Cat5 cable to your network, you will get close speeds to what you get with a USB cable, but of course the benefit is much longer cable lengths. Next to it is a USB port. That's for connecting either a compatible GPS or an external storage device. In terms of power, the WFT-E3 is powered by a standard BP511A battery. This is the same battery that's used by the 40D, although it's important to note that unlike traditional portrait grips, this battery does not power the camera. It's used only for the actual wireless unit itself. It's also worth pointing out that when you do have this unit attached to the 40D, you obviously can't remove the battery from the 40D itself, so if your battery does run out on the camera, you'll need to remove the wireless device in order to gain access to it. And finally, in the corner, here are those duplicate controls for the portrait aspect ratio that I showed you just a moment ago. Connect the WFT-E3 and you'll see some new menus. Go into WFT settings and you'll find a connection wizard to get you started, along with settings to configure the USB port. Now let's have a look at an existing wireless connection we've already set up and saved into one of 5 sets. The WFT-E3 lets you change a wide variety of settings to work with all manner of wireless or wired networks. Here we're set to wireless, and now you can manually set the TCP/IP settings or have the device automatically retrieve them from your router. You can also configure access to an FTP server to upload images. Under the wireless LAN section, you can manually set an SSID or go into the advanced settings to select the connection method, the authentication, the encryption, and also the key format. So here's the 40D and WFT-E3 connected to a wireless network. We're running Canon's EOS utility on a PC that's also connected to the same network, and this is allowing us to completely remote control the camera from afar. So we're watching a live view and firing the shutter without any cables. Now take a closer look at that screen in the bottom left, where we're adjusting the ISO sensitivity again wirelessly from the PC. Now look at the top right corner and you'll see the focus distance marks on the lens actually changing. Again, we're manually controlling this remotely using the PC without a cable in sight. You could even do all this with the camera located outside. Here it's in a garden 16 meters away from the wireless access point, but still under complete remote control. One of the other features is being able to connect a GPS device and record your position on images. You can see our current location here on the screen of a Garmin GPS Map 60CSX. The GPS unit itself is connected directly to the WFT-E3's USB port using a supplied cable. So with the WFT-E3 configured for GPS, all you need to do is take the photo and the position data is automatically recorded into the image header. You can see it here in the bottom left corner of an image that we're playing back on the 40D. There you can see the coordinates, the elevation and the universal time. But what are you going to do with this information? Well, you could enter it directly into programs like Google Earth and take a closer look at where the photo was taken. In this case, just outside of Queenstown in New Zealand's South Island. The Canon WFT-E3 is a great gadget for technology lovers, but it's also genuinely useful in practice. The portrait aspect grip makes it very comfortable and easy to take pictures in this orientation. The Wi-Fi facilities, obviously the headline features of this device, may be slower than using a direct cable connection, but they do give you enormous freedom and flexibility. For example, you could have the 40D mounted on a tripod somewhere in your studio or even at the bottom of your garden, and yet still be able to wirelessly remote control it from your computer and transfer images from the camera to your hard disk without a cable inside. Now that could be handy, say if you're an astrophotographer and you want to take pictures without getting cold, or maybe you're a professional sports photographer running around the stadium but confident in the knowledge that the pictures you're taking are being wirelessly transmitted back to your picture desk for someone else to edit without you having to download them yourself. In terms of the other connectivity features, the Cat5 Ethernet port can be very useful if again you want a longer cable length than USB but you still want better performance than the wireless connection. The USB port to the GPS unit works pretty well, but only if you've got a compatible GPS, so if that's important to you, do try it before you buy it. We've got some more information on compatible units at the Camera Labs website. In fact, about the only thing that didn't work particularly well with the WFT-E3 was its USB connection to an external storage device, and that's because there's certain limitations. First of all, the unit will need to be formatted as either FAT16 or FAT32. Now that's fine if you say got a USB key, and indeed it worked absolutely fine on this device, but if you've got an external hard disk, it may be formatted in a different file system. What's a bit more limiting though is that if you do have an external hard disk, it needs to be self-powered. The camera and this device cannot power that for you, so if you have one of those laptop hard disks that are completely portable and powered by the USB port, sadly it won't work on this. You will need an external power supply or a battery operated device. But that aside, the WFT-E3 and the E3A version for North America is a really useful gadget. It's got an awful lot of features, and if they're useful to you, then it's definitely an accessory you should be looking into if you already own the EOS 40D. Now if you'd like to see how fast that wireless is in practice and find out more about the WFT-E3, then head on over to www.cameralabs.com and there you'll find our full detailed review.